Yo, what's going on, everyone? This is Atlas the Plug. I am here with some amazing co-hosts. I got my man Doobie Duke Sims here, the lovely Malgosia Garnies, and of course Riser here. How you guys doing?
We're doing well.
Doing well?
Good to be here with you, Atlas.
Alive and breathing.
Yeah, so this is the first episode of Glowed Up. So shout out to everybody listening here. So what the show is about, if anyone is listening, we want to interview anyone who's got that glow. So if you're a mover and a shaker in your industry, we want to talk to you and pick your brain, regardless of whether it's music, whether it's real estate, whether it's attorney, whatever it is. We definitely want to have them. But speaking of glowed up, I have my co-host, who I consider all to be glowed up, by the way. So what I want to do first, just so our listeners can just know who we are individually, Doobie, we could start with you. Why don't you just tell everyone just a little bit? I mean, I know me and you have a long history, but why don't we tell them a little about yourself?
Okay, my name is Doobie Duke Sims. I'm a being of the earth.
There you go.
The most important, you know what I'm saying? And spreading the positive vibrations. I'm an artist. I do music, music producer. I do T-shirts, music videos, anything to do with art and visions. I'm a visionary in this world, and just happy to spread love and, be a part of vibrations with other people that are also about that positive vibe. You know what I mean?
Cool. Malgosia.
The pearl.
The Pearl.
The
Malgosia
Pearl.
The Pearl.
A.K.A. grape soda. That's an inside joke.
Oh, shut up. Hi, I'm Malgosia. I'm an actress. I am also a producer. I just launched my creative production company and an agency, and I also have a fashion line. I'm a performer. What else?
She's a boss.
I'm a boss. I'm a 6'2" boss.
Yeah.
Respect.
I put people into place. And I like the vibration things. It's like making art with people on the higher vibrations than you, so you just become a better person.
It's going to rub off for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, all right, so it's my turn?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, guys. I'm Riser. We're meeting all for the first time, except for you and I,
Right,
Atlas.
of course.
I'm honored to be here. I'm a music producer, DJ. I founded a music collective about 3 years ago, which is pretty much a stem of what I saw Atlas doing and Illmind. And from that moment on, I guess you can I consider myself like a young entrepreneur.
100%.
Bringing people together, all types of creatives, throwing multiple monthly events, being part of panels and a few things, and now exploring podcasts with you guys and spreading positivity, as Doobie said, I'm like I said, I'm honored to be here and see what we could do and how we can discover people's glowed up moments.
Sure. It's an honor actually to have all of us here together. Real quick, just for me, most people might know me from Blap Chat, residencies, events I've been doing in the city, New York for years. But enough about me. Enough about me.
Okay,
I want to ask you guys something. What do you guys consider, like, what is it? How does someone have, what do you guys consider someone to have that glow? What is it that they have to have? Like, when you see someone, you go, oh man, they just got that. They just got that glow. They glowed up. Like, what does it take for you guys to have that?
Life experience. You need to come and go through the darkness and then put that into your world and create something that is spectacular and different and think outside the box and really don't care what people think about you and think that basically go through a lot of crap and figure out that there's a light and be the light.
I think that part of that also, I guess and kind of like to play off your name, being a pearl, it takes a lot of pressure to become that,
Diamonds too, and respect.
Exactly, right? So diamonds and pearls, getting fancy over here. But yeah, I agree 1,000%, but I think also something that is kind of like lost within that whole, you got to be tough and everything. I think also being selfless is super important, like being in your glowed up stage, because then someone you can just walk in a room, like let's say Atlas for example, like I'm just saying that because I know him, but like he walks in a room and he's just like a burst of good energy,
Vibrating.
and then you know something like immediately, like this guy is a good guy, like he's glowed up, he's definitely doing his thing. It's not like, you know how you have that party person, but like you can tell like, oh, they're just about partying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
guy walks in the room, he's the party and the one that's like, yo, let's make this bread, let's like make moves and stuff. So I think that's important, like having that selflessness and good vibe energy is also a sign of being glowed up.
Facts. What I think about glowed up? Well, I think I totally vibe with what you're saying, you know, especially as somebody who has lived what you said, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, like, you know, back in the days, like growing up in Brooklyn, like I'll have really clean jeans, and then I would go out and play, and I would skid them up, and my knees would be all bloody, but I'll be having a great time. And I'll come back to the house, and my mom would be like, yo, what happened to your jeans? But I was living. And that's what happens when you live. You scrape your knees up and stuff. But at the same time, you'd be like, yo, I really like your jeans, man. They're very rock and roll. Like, how did you get them like that? Oh, but I didn't buy them in the store like that. Like, I actually lived this. But you can go in the store and buy jeans that are already ripped. So does that mean that, you know what I mean?
You went through it or
Yeah.
not?
And then
you
the
know?
other side is also like, you can come in the room and have perfectly clean, crisp iron jeans. You don't have to have no rips in it. You know what I mean? You don't need to skid your knees to understand what pain feels like. You know what I mean? You could learn that just being in your crib. That might be why you get out your crib. That's why you got to move out of your parents' house. You might not have had those life experiences, but
Right.
that is a life experience. The fact that you, and then so like you glowing up from the fact that you're just like, you waiting. It's like almost like the quarter machine of life. Like you waiting for somebody to put the quarter in so that you could come out that bubble.
Yeah.
You might not have the life, but you could be glowing up on both sides. You could be glowing. One side, somebody already activated. Another side, they didn't activate, but they still got that light. They still got that gift. We just haven't seen it yet because they're not in our sphere.
Right.
So to be in the sphere, I feel is the most important thing because then we see you glowing. You
Right.
could be glowing at your dinner table.
Right.
We just don't know.
But if you're not out there.
Yeah, we don't even. How could you be on the podcast?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I totally agree with you guys. I think it's definitely a mix of being humble. You know what I'm saying? Like there's just something really, for lack of a better term, there's just something sexy about someone who's successful, but someone who's also very humble at the same time.
That's large.
You know what I'm
That's
saying? Where
large.
you could like walk up to them and they're just like, man, man, you're just like the coolest person ever. Like you're so cool. I thought this, and it's like at the end of the day, they're just a human.
word. And that's probably why they're popping off because their energy is so right. And if their energy wasn't right, they could have been super talented and pop off for a little bit, but the glow.
And it's funny that you say that because we were kind of talking about that in the green room before, how, we were talking about music and we were talking about how different bands, and we're not going to say who the names, but we were talking about different bands, how, two bands in, the early 2000s with huge radio smashes, huge number one smashes. And those same two bands, one band is still touring, doing 100-person venue, when the other one is doing what was the
It's like a bit Woodstock.
Woodstock in Europe.
half
You know what I'm
a
saying?
million.
Woodstock
Yeah.
in Europe. You know what I'm saying? And they both at the same time had the hits. But what we were saying, Dube, and I totally agree, is it was about how they treated their fans. Right? Was that what we were
It's
talking
basically
about?
the navigation of their business, how they the thing about being an artist, right? And I lived this.
Right.
Of like being crazy.
Because a lot of people don't know. I mean, a lot of people know. I know, maybe, but listeners who aren't familiar with
Yeah.
you, like a lot of people don't. Dave toured band. I mean, he was in. Can I say it was cool? Like
Yeah.
Shinobi Ninja, like toured the world. I mean, you guys were out there. I can remember when I was in Fusion with Father Dude, because you got to remember, I've known Dave when I used to sing in an R&B group, and he was running the studio at the time. Playing guitar, running the studio, engineering. He was doing everything. And I remember we used to look at Shinobi Ninja like, yo, those guys are crushing. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then the stickers everywhere. Like, you guys have, the vision and all that. Like, you definitely how'd you see all that vision so early?
I mean, I feel like a lot of it is just like the way it lined up. I mean, just the way that I met you, I feel like almost like it's like Saved by the Bell. And then like Saved by the Bell, like they had the original Saved by the Bell, right? Which we all know with
Zach and
Lisa Turtle,
right.
and these people, right?
Right.
And then they came out with the Saved by the Bell, the new cast.
Right.
Now I didn't know who any of these people were. They had some dude that looked like Zach. He was supposed to be Zach, but his name was something
Not
else.
Zach.
Some dude that's supposed to be like Screech,
Slater,
who's like
another
funny.
guy, right.
Yeah, no, a muscle dude that's supposed to be like Slater, but I don't really know who this dude is. But I feel like for us, like we were like it was a Saved by the Bell. And even talking about my homie Lewis and different people that are blowing up now, right?
We're from Progressive.
We're from this time, right?
Yeah,
and so like, how did that happen? Like, that's like the organic nature of the universe that just happened to put us together. But I think the rad thing and why we here now is because, like you said, that humble nature of like, we actually weren't like about something dark. Like, we were actually about like creativity and like, so then when you see your homies that you already knew, the bridge is not burnt. You didn't burn like 35 bridges where like everybody hates you from back in the day.
Right.
Like, you actually still be like, everybody's, and when we see each other and everybody's doing their own things, you're like, yo, but I went to school with that person. Like, that person was in my class. Like, I even remember Chrisette Michelle. Like, I went to music conservatory in Five Towns, right? So Chrisette Michelle was in my class. We would do sight singing, sight reading, like all music shit, right? And nobody was nobody back then. Like, nobody was nobody. But I always remember that name, Chrisette Michelle, because she was in my class. So when the teacher would come and read, like, is Dave Aaron here? I'm here. Is Chrisette Michelle here? Be like, all right, so I know there's somebody named Chrisette Michelle, right? She's not my super homie, but we would know each other. I was never mean to anybody, but I was doing my own thing. But then I started to hear that name, and then I started to see her blowing up, and I was like, that was that girl that was in my class.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? And so, like, that's Atlas. That's Baby G. Like, when I first got together with Baby G, right? She was on TRL. Like, we right around the corner from the studio, right?
I remember,
So we're in the studio, and we're writing our songs, right? And then our friend is dancing with the number one artist with the number one song in the world on TRL. And that's a big difference. Like, that's a large difference to be like, yo, I'm writing a song. And another thing would be like, yo, my homie's around the block, like, at the top of her profession. But these are the people that were together. And then, like, of course, and Ryan Leslie was talking about this, that people never stay where they are.
Right.
It's human nature to want to rise up for yourself, to do more, whatever it is that you're doing, to have more of it, right? So you're always going to see your homies grow. You know what I mean?
Well, the whole thing is like, okay, you seeing them grow, but are you being a fan of their growth?
I'm a huge fan.
No, but
Large.
like I'm it's great, but some people are not.
Those are haters.
Right. Haters.
No, but what it is, one like it's being aspirational, right? Like, they will not help you. They will not do that. So where really the next generation of people are going, in my opinion, is about what is the purpose. Like, why are you an artist? Why are you doing music? Why are you trying to do something else? Like, what is the purpose of you actually living? Like, what is that glow? Like, okay, you glowed up, right? But what are you going to do with it? How are you going to push boundaries? How are you going to think outside the box? How are you going to give back something? Because that's what it is all about. So sure, your friend made it, but what, like, there's this whole thing on top. Nobody, it's a lonely place on top.
Right.
So the new thing is actually probably thinking, hey, we all did that.
Facts.
Yeah. It's like not waterfall. It's not, hey, it's my turn now. It's, hey, let's be agile. Let's help each other. Because everyone needs a freaking break. That's how I look at it.
Yeah,
Facts.
I agree 1,000%. It's so funny because, I don't know if you guys heard of this show, Entourage.
Of course. Classic.
So, and like, I for some strange reason, I rewatch it every few years, and I just finished watching the whole thing and the movie. And everything she just mentioned, yeah, that's true. Like, there's one person that can be like, yeah, you're the star, you're glowing, but it's important to bring the people around you that are hungry and want it as well, because, you can push people to do something, but only so far. They have to want it too. So, but when you surround yourselves with that kind of energy, your glow like intensifies, you know what I mean? So
100%.
And then you go from being a star to a sun, and then the universe and all this crazy stuff, like, and that's how you become like a largely known like public figure or anything. You have to have the right energy around you. If you don't, like she
That's
said,
your
what's the
fault.
purpose?
Actually, that's your fault at this
It
point.
is your
like,
fault, yeah.
If you're a rapper, if you're not surrounded yourself by people who actually have your back and tell you the truth, and right now they diss you or like talk shit and don't tell you what's wrong, then it's actually your fault. Like, if somebody pisses you off, I'm a fully believer in the fact that there's something within myself that it's my fault, because that person doesn't give a right. What's wrong with the whole situation? It's I'm here walking my way to the next stage of my life or vibration or where my soul is going. So you either with me or you do you, and God bless you on that your own journey to it. And that's how but I'm a fan. I will like, hey, you want to glow up? You want to do it different way?
Yeah.
I'm your number one fan. What are we doing? And it's funny. People say, oh, hey, but like, how are you going to make money?
Yeah.
Like, don't worry about it.
The money will come.
The money will come. The money I have, like, I'm good. I'm an immigrant. I will figure it out. You can mess up. You can mess with a street thug. You can mess up with corporate thug. But I'm a big believer. Immigrant thugs, we know what's up.
Yeah, to add to that, and I think there's something that's very key when you're coming up, and even that I've learned even within the past 10 years of doing this is finding the next generation, like young, hungry group of people that are hungry, that like you see that glow in their eyes, like we had in Progressive, like we had coming up, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then help build them, right? But do it in a way where you're not holding their hand.
Right.
But you're giving them opportunity.
Yeah, opportunity.
Giving them opportunity, and you might have been the first person to ever give them an opportunity.
Which is what Dave Levitt did for me, how I ended up at Progressive.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
Gave me an opportunity.
So it's like sometimes I think it's just a matter of giving people opportunity, seeing what they do with the opportunity, right? So like, even a good example, like the guys behind the scenes that we have here. We have Jackson, we have Cap. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been working with these guys. God, it's been 5 years already, at least, right? These guys started, with me interning at Roseville Music Group. I literally send their resumes. I interviewed them. They came, sat with me. I had a whole bunch of interviews that day, and I picked these guys because they were something special.
They
Why?
had the little
Why?
juice.
I'm going to tell you. Cap, I can tell you the first reason. Cap showed up every day, showed up on time.
It's big.
Didn't really speak unless, like, he needed to really speak. He was fly on the wall. So I wasn't worried about having, Joel Ortiz in there, or
And
Davies coming through.
Say something stupid.
Yeah, like I knew he would just be
cool.
fly on the wall. We need an engineer. He's going to show up. And and he's nice at what he does.
Large.
With the quick keys on the Pro Tools. Like, the guy is nice. And, and he just, shout out to Captive. He just, Pete Rock and Sky Zoo album, which charted on Billboard. He did all that. He recorded all those vocals and did all that. So, and that's, he's recorded West Side Gun and Conway.
That's a glow up right there.
That's a glow up. Shout out to
right
Captive.
there.
That's a glow up.
But you were part of it. So
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah,
your glow
I-
came with their whole
Exactly.
glow.
Well, that's
And,
what
like, but
right.
you didn't. It's kind of like I have an assistant, right? This kid started with me, and he showed up like every day. Showed up, always like did what I asked him to do. Oh, still does, thank God. But it's you have this whole idea how you work and what is your DNA. So and your values as a person, and you need to put that in that person. And when you run your career, that's who you are. You can't mold in something that doesn't work. Like, you cannot behave, like, you cannot be something that you are not. So you do you, and other people will come, as long as you stay truth to what you really want to do. And it might take longer, but you will get there. That's really what it is. But just don't be fake, because that just like make me want to throw up.
I think the struggle too, like, dude, but we were all kind of talking about earlier, is like, you got to go through shit. Like, you got to struggle. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to.
Some people do. Yeah. It'd be better if you were smart from the gate.
Yeah, no.
It'd be better.
But when I say struggle, I just mean, like, you just have to go through, like, you could have all the money in the world, you could have all the resources in the world, and still struggle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
but
because you're gonna try to execute something,
that you don't have the
something's gonna go
experience.
wrong. This one's not gonna show up. This
Word.
one is forgot the wire. This lighting guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you
like,
gotta learn that.
It's always gonna be something.
It's called life.
Yeah, life.
Right. I'm saying you
It's
have to
life.
go through experiences.
You know,
to
when the only time I've met Illmind so far, when I went to his crib, right, he was giving away records and sweatpants.
Yeah.
So I went to his crib, right, and we were talking, we were chilling, right, and there was some point I just said to him, like, you know what though, but like, you made a lot of correct decisions. Well, I made a lot of, like, not good business decisions. I made a lot of great artistic decisions. But so there's a fine line, and I think the most important thing is the decisions. That's really going to be the equation. Like, if you are in this situation, or you're going to have 1,000 situations, but based on your decisions and how you treated that, that's going to be your equation.
Do you
know
think
what I
it's did you fail? You think
No,
it
I didn't
fail?
fail. But there's a difference between Illmind's plaques and my plaques. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but,
also keep in mind. Hold on. Not to put Illmind's business out there, but he's publicly said this on Twitter and Instagram and all this. Like, he signed a shitty pub. He signed a really
Yeah.
bad
I was
deal.
watching the
know
Just
about
Blaze
that.
interview.
Really
talking
bad
about
deal
it.
in the beginning. Like, took years and years and years and years as manager. Shout out to John Master to get him out of it. So like, I remember them just going through it and figuring it all out, and like, really bad deal. So he really, like, for the first 5, 10, I don't know how many years it was, but really bad. You know, no lawyer. You know how it is. They
Yeah.
come, they give you, his 5 racks. You got to roll 100. You think you're
think
rich,
you're
you're
killing
young,
it.
you
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
You
Totally.
go home, you want to make more beats and make one another 5 racks, not realizing.
But they got you locked now.
Right, and I'm not saying this happened with Ill, but this happens all the
It's
time.
just a music
but not
business, what it
realizing,
is.
like, those 5 racks you got,
That's
but
all
you got no
getting.
publishing.
Yeah.
You know, it goes back to what you were saying though. That's his experiences, and like how you said the difference. There's a difference between his plaques and yours,
Right.
but
Yeah.
that's your experience.
For sure.
That's your rip genes.
Yeah, I got
you
my
know what
strength.
I mean?
I got my
Exactly.
strength.
So
for sure.
and it's crazy that we're talking about this because I also started producing like back in 2005, and that's been a journey, just learning and then putting myself through school and like, you know, at when I was 25 years old, I owned like 2 studios, and I was working at 2 studios, going to 2 schools, and working with a bunch of artists, and just figuring things out before I really knew that I really wanted this. Even while being in all of that, I was still wondering, like, is this what I really want? But I was already in it, you know? And there was a moment where I kind of like switched. One definitely was when I got in contact with Atlas, which was by chance. But that also goes hand in hand with one of the things that changed my perspective. Was I was working with one of my homies that I knew for like 6 years, a rapper that I was recording, and he was like, "Yo, I don't understand why you're not big yet. Like, you know, this was a long time ago already." And he was like, "I don't understand why you're not big yet. Every decision you make is like you're just rolling the dice, and you're not really making a plan." So that's when I knew, okay, like I have to make the right decisions now.
Right.
And still, you know, I'm still learning. We're all still
Is
learning.
it,
We're all
is it
still
rolling
growing.
the dice,
Yeah.
right? Or is it actually manifesting what you're supposed to learn?
Yeah.
Right? Because your trajectory of your life changes
Right.
with where you at right now and what you need to learn.
Right.
So it's not really what you want, it's what universe really wants for you.
But it also goes hand in hand with
That's
the
deep.
people. Yeah, of course, absolutely. I agree 1,000%. But also, I think it's more of a roll of the dice, because then you have to wonder, like, the people around you, like, do they have the right energy for you to reach that goal?
Yeah.
Then the people that you start to interact with, the chances you take, the decisions that you make that you know are going to take up your time and your money, like, is it the right decision for your glow up? Is it the right path? You don't know. So
Right.
no matter what you do, it's always a roll of the dice.
But then your love for life is bigger.
Right.
That's
why
really
you
what
keep
happened.
going.
That's what you because
Yeah.
it's like falling in love, right?
Yeah.
You know you might get your heart broken.
Yeah.
But like what you
Take a chance.
You just jump.
Yeah.
And I think that's what life is. It's just jumping and say, hey, I'm gonna be the first one. Fuck it, jump and do it, and then
Figure it out.
and this whole idea is Padma Chama.
Okay.
She has this whole idea of being groundless.
Being
so
what?
groundless.
Groundless. Oh, okay.
So you're actually not going to fall on your ass because there's no ground.
right.
So you are just there doing your thing.
Yeah.
So being magical, like I'm in the place in my life where from an actress, I'm growing into this whole business. I'm a name, right? I'm doing this by myself with group of people that are behind me in corporate world, as an artist, like everything. And I look at my life, I'm like, holy crap, I did this because of me, because of my soul, because of my energy, because I put my time. I built this network like you, like being a plug, being like, I gave my all without expectations. No, nothing. Like, what do you need? Because what's going to happen is you create a project that is worth more than money, more than anything, like changes somebody else.
Yeah.
Like if you change one person's life, right? That's saying you good. You did good.
Deep. It's
Yeah.
deep. Deep stuff it's going on.
Yeah.
I thought I'm going to talk about
Look,
this and like anything I date
Look,
instead
guys,
of work.
listen, and we're gonna really get deep. You know.
Can we get
so-
deep about my dating in New York City,
Oh yeah,
please?
we're gonna really get deep, guys.
That's all we
So
want to talk about.
just I want someone.
I really want
just
to talk about.
yeah, right. I just want all the listeners to know. Follow Glowed Up GLOWED Show, Glowed Up Show on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Shoot us comments, DMs if you want to send things you want us to talk about or any guests you'd like us to have on the show. Definitely
Any
tag
questions about
any
our journey?
questions, anything, stuff like that. Let us know. We're gonna wrap up this show. The next one will be longer, but we're gonna wrap up this show. We appreciate all you guys listening, and we're gonna see you guys next week. All right.
Goodbye.
All right. Peace.